Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cailin YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be looking at your September 2025 horoscopes. You can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun, and moon sign. In fact, I recommend that you do watch for all three because that way you'll have a really well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. If you're wanting more regular astrological updates, you can follow me. It's the same handle, which is Cailin. So September is a really exciting month because we have eclipse season. We've got a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces and a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So if you're a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, definitely be sure to watch your horoscope for that sign because it will be very impactful for you, this eclipse, that is to say. And lastly, just letting you know that I'm actually referring back to my old format where I'm just flowing through the astrological events from the beginning of the month through till the end of the month. And the reason for that is twofold. Firstly, a lot of you said that you prefer those horoscopes, which I was doing before, that they have more flow, and you know what, I tend to agree with you. And secondly, they were taking me probably about twice as long to just execute in totality. So I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. If you do, please give the video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and it would really help me if you could share this video around just to try and grow the channel that little bit more. Thank you so much, and now let's get into your horoscope. Hi Scorpio Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your September 2025 horoscope. As the month begins, Venus will still be transiting the sign of Leo in your 10th house, so this can be really beneficial for enhancing your public status, your public reputation, and ultimately this can see you coming across as more charming, more diplomatic, and of course you can have a better chance at getting your boss to say yes to some kind of request. So if you've been wanting to ask for a pay rise or for leave, perhaps to go on a holiday or a vacation, then doing so while Venus is transiting Leo in your 10th house can give you basically more of a good chance at getting the green light. Now on the 1st of September, Saturn is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces, which means it's going to be transiting your 5th house for another 5.5 months. The 5th house in astrology is associated with love and romance, children, creativity, as well as owning your own business, and also some other stuff as well. So when it comes to love and romance, Saturn being retrograde in your 5th house and finishing up a transit that started back in March 2023 could see you trying to figure out the, let's say, finer details of a romantic connection that you have. So if you've been in an on-again, off-again relationship with another person, then I do think that during the next 5.5 months, you'll actually be figuring out one way or another whether you want to stay together, whether to become exclusive, or how to navigate that relationship. Of course, some of you may decide that it's not for you anymore. On a different note, you could just be taking a break from dating during this period of time. If you are already in a romantic relationship with another person, Saturn going through your 5th house could have put a bit of a dampener on the romance, the fun, and maybe even the sex and the passion in your relationship. So Saturn being retrograde through your 5th house could see you just navigating those issues or those themes with your significant other and finding a way to really rebuild the connection if you're wanting to do so, of course. Now, when it comes to children, Saturn, especially being 29 degrees for the first 2 weeks of the month, could see your children being a little bit more obstinate, all right? So maybe they are rebelling. So your usual parenting methods are maybe not working on them, or maybe you are just trying to reestablish boundaries or even implement new rules in the dynamic that you have with your children, or perhaps trying different approaches, whether that is to take the foot off the gas with how you discipline your children. On the other side of that coin, if you haven't been basically laying down the law, then maybe you are going to the other side of that extreme. On a different note though, with the fifth house ruling over creativity and owning your own business, you may be looking at rebuilding your business, rebranding. Perhaps you could even be looking at basically refining what you're doing and niching down, or working really hard on launching a new business. And this could even take you the next few months to get up off the ground, or perhaps it's just like a different arm of your business or a different dynamic of that business. Of course, there will be some of you who are looking at selling your business, closing it down, or just starting to wind things up. Lastly, because the fifth house rules over hobbies and passions, as well as things like gambling and partying, some of you could be taking your hobbies and passions more seriously, or you could be trying to rein it in when it comes to things like partying, gambling, recreational drug taking, drinking, etc., etc. So on the 5th of September, Mars in Libra in your 12th house is going to square Jupiter in Cancer in your 9th house at 18 degrees. Mars is your ruling planet in astrology. So this can see you maybe experiencing your belief systems or what you have faith in being challenged in some way, or maybe you're just taking action on an important dream that you have, and maybe you are putting effort into your spiritual practices. For others of you, you could be pursuing like the deeper truth of, let's say, religion, spirituality, something to do with esotericism, etc., etc. And of course, there's an opportunity here for you to cut out subconscious beliefs or mindsets that are basically leading you to self-sabotage in some way, shape, or form. For a select few of you, you may actually find that you're forgoing a belief system altogether. So this is a great time for deprogramming certain long-held beliefs. And maybe there'll be tools or techniques that you use, or some kind of practice that helps you to do that, because Mars is about taking action. Okay, this is not like a passive aspect that we're experiencing. On the 7th or the 8th of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a total lunar eclipse in your 5th house in Pisces at 15 degrees. So not only is it going to be trining Jupiter in Cancer in your 9th house, it's also going to be trining your Scorpio Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. So I've already mentioned some of the themes for the 5th house, but just as it relates to the total lunar eclipse, there could be some kind of significant event that's taking place here. So you could be completing an important project or milestone with your business. If you own your own business, maybe your business is ready for launch, or you've got a website that's going to be ready around September or even October. There could be someone who comes in to help you with coaching when it comes to owning your own business. So you could be getting a business coach, a life coach, or something of that nature. On a different note, because the 5th house rules over love and romance, maybe there'll be a notable development in your love life or in your romantic life. This could see you and your partner getting onto the same page and figuring out how you want to come together to address certain issues that you may have been experiencing in your relationship. So this could relate to sex, intimacy, lack of spontaneity, fun, just feeling like your relationship is in a rut. And so maybe you're agreeing, for example, to go to couples therapy, or you're cutting a plan for how to navigate out of this particular rut or this cycle that your relationship has been in. All right, so even if you're not in a relationship, maybe this is a development happening here. So you could be meeting someone new. You could be taking things to the next level with another person, romantically speaking. On a different note though, having an eclipse in the 5th house could indicate that your family may be expanding. Also, those are crazy cockatoos. They've started early. They normally go off at about 5 o'clock, but they're an hour early. Anyway, the 5th house also rules over fun, leisure, vacations, and whatnot. So there may be an opportunity for you to go on a holiday. Maybe you're just booking the trip, even if you're not going on it in the month of September. And of course, maybe you're completing a creative project or reconnecting to a hobby or a passion of yours. And lastly, there could be some kind of spiritual awakening or realization here as it relates to your dharma, meaning what's going to bring you joy or happiness, or what is your path in life that you feel called to pursue. And that's a very, very, simplified, reductive explanation for dharma. So definitely don't take that as a fully comprehensive piece on it. Anyway, on the 19th of September, Venus is going to enter the sign of Virgo, which means it's going to transit your 11th house until the 13th of October. This is great for networking, for expanding your existing community and network even further. It's a great time for attending social engagements, networking events, and maybe organizing your own event. Venus represents love, relationships, romance, as well as money and resources. And the 11th house is a social house, as well as one of the money houses in astrology. So this could indicate finding love via networking events, the online space, friend of a friend, like someone in your network or community. On a different note though, and on a financial note, you could be focused on passive forms of income. Maybe you'll be receiving a bit of a bonus or even a lump sum of money with Venus transiting your 11th house. The 11th house relates to awards and accolades. So Venus going through your 11th house could actually lead you to receiving some kind of award, accolade, or maybe even winning some kind of prize or competition. And lastly, the 11th house is associated with human rights, innovation, science, AI, and so on and so forth. So you may actually be enjoying learning about these topics or pursuing them further. On the 21st or the 22nd of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon solar eclipse in your 11th house. Okay, so of course, Venus is going to be here as well. In any case, a new moon solar eclipse is all about a new chapter that is starting. And when we've got an eclipse, it just means that it's more notable or impactful than like a regular new moon. So it's important to say that not every single eclipse is going to impact every person, but here are a few different ways that this could be playing out for you. There may be a new community or group that you are joining, maybe making new friends, maybe expanding your existing friendship even further. Even if there's people in your life that you sort of know as acquaintances, maybe you're becoming better friends with them. On a different note, you could be involved in some kind of humanitarian cause or social activism. And it doesn't just mean, 21st of September, this is the only day for it. No, these sorts of things could be coming up 2 to 4 weeks before the eclipse, 2 to 4 weeks after the eclipse, and the effects can be felt for months to come. So maybe you'll be looking at innovating something new or developing some kind of new invention. You could be looking at starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or TikTok, or doing something in the online space. Maybe there'll be an opportunity for you to collaborate with another person or another group, or you could be having someone invest in you. Maybe that's investing in a Kickstarter program or a new project or a business venture that you have. And ultimately, the 11th house is largely associated with our long-term goals and projects. So you could be realizing an important new goal that you want to set for yourself. Even if it takes years and years to be fulfilled, it doesn't really matter. You know, the 11th house is all about going, this is the direction that I want to head in. These are the goals that are important to me. And a lot of the time they can be socioeconomic goals and they can impact you financially. So you may be looking at developing a passive or residual form of income, or refining your existing passive forms of income. Maybe some of you will be applying for a pension or for some kind of concession, such as a disability concession. And there could be new opportunities here for you in terms of investments or how to invest your superannuation money. That's what we call it in Australia. Not sure what it's called in other parts of the world. Lastly, the 11th house is associated with PhDs. So maybe you'll be filling out an application for a PhD. Now, on the 22nd of September, Mars, which is your ruling planet, is going to enter the sign of Scorpio. So it will be transiting your first house for about 6 weeks through till the 4th of November. When we have Mars transit our first house, it can play out in a few different ways. But first, let me just say that Mars likes to be in the sign of Scorpio. It feels at home in the sign of Scorpio. So that's already a major plus. The downside of this particular transit is that you can be more easily irritated and agitated. You can come across as more aggressive or like pushy and bossy than you intended to. Or maybe there's aggression that you experience from others, or there could be certain conflicts or worst case scenario altercations. Do be mindful of inflammation and accidents when Mars transits the first house. But on the upside, and it is a major upside, you can feel way more motivated. You can be a lot more goal-oriented. You can have more willpower, more sticking power. It's like your will be unstoppable with Mars in your first house, and it is great for muscle development, getting fit, getting healthy, losing weight, getting stuff done, being more productive, and being able to tackle conflict head on. Of course, you may just be feeling a lot more passionate, all right? So in terms of your relationships with your significant other or sexual partners, maybe you're more inclined to spice things up in the bedroom. And ultimately, you only experience this transit once every 2 and a bit years. So it is a really powerful time for setting goals and actually going out and achieving them. And with Mars ruling over your 6th house, it will also afford you the opportunity to be very productive with things like life admin, work tasks, and committing to some kind of health or exercise regimen. So Scorpio, that's all I have for you for your September horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, can you do me a favor and please give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with some other people if you think they'll enjoy it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so and receive notifications every time I chuck a new video up. And lastly, if you're wanting to see more astrological updates between these videos, then you can follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. Enjoy your month ahead, and I'll see you guys in October.